Hey, so there's a difference between being empathic and being exhausted. Most people never learn it, and it costs them years of emotional energy. So I posted a short recently saying that discernment and perception are a superpower, but not without consent. And the responses were enlightening. They were great responses. What do I do about that? Isn't that just being empathic? So, what the comments are revealing to me as a therapist is that many people think that empathy is a personality trait. Maybe you're born with it, maybe you aren't. But in reality, empathy is a nervous system reflex often formed in childhood. Now, if you were to go ask other people out there on the internet, sure, you're going to get other answers, but this is my answer for you and the two viewers who asked really great questions. So, if you're someone who automatically tunes into others and you carry emotional responsibility, or you feel pulled into depth that you didn't choose, stay with me. I have something for you. I'm going to show you how empathy can turn into emotional labor, where consent actually gets missed, and it's so subtle, but it's there. And I'm going to give you the exact steps to reorientate back into yourself without shutting down your perception and your discernment and your superpower of empathy, because that's important. It's not about shaming ourselves into silence. It's about learning how to optimize the gifts that we have with awareness and insight and consent. So let me start here. Yes, what many people call empathy is often discernment and perception and many other things, but here's the part that nobody is talking about enough. Empathy is not inherently a skill, and it's often an adaptation. So, for many people, the ability to read tone, mood shifts, energy, and emotional undercurrents or unspoken tension didn't come from emotional abundance, and it didn't come from some amazing gift. It came from emotional necessity. So, a lot of highly empathic people grew up in environments where emotions were unpredictable, caregivers were maybe dysregulated, unavailable, or inconsistent, and safety depended on anticipating rather than expressing your emotional needs and your emotional insights and curiosities and questions. The emotional relationship wasn't reciprocal. As a child, you were made responsible to attune and adapt and read the room. So your nervous system learned to turn outward. It learned to turn to other people first. That is a nervous system external orientation. And here's a distinction that a lot of people miss, myself included, up until, my work as a therapist. Discernment is information, and it's information at the level you can see with insight and awareness, how much you can perceive. Emotional labor is a responsibility and the action that you take regarding all of that information that you have taken in. So you can perceive someone's emotional state, you can see their emotional patterns without regulating it, fixing it, or even carrying it within yourself. So when discernment happens without consent, it quietly turns into emotional labor. And that's where your exhaustion is coming from. It's not because you're too sensitive. It's not because you care too much. It's because your system never learned how to stay inside itself while noticing others. And again, that's from the upbringing and that automatic, often unconscious reflex of turning outward, noticing others first before noticing your internal. So when someone says AKA empathic, I just want to gently refine that. Empathy is a choice and a skill and a superpower. Empathy without that choice is a reflex and an almost unconscious instinct. And when it's unconscious, we miss the consent, and that's where it turns into labor and heaviness and exhaustion. So reflexes aren't moral achievements, they're nervous system patterns, and that's okay. We all have them. You didn't choose them, you learned them. That's all right. What do we do about it? So let's answer the real question. Joanna Parker Martin 981 asked, what do I actually do about this? And here's the Coles Notes version, and then I'm going to slow it down to be as emotionally precise as I can be for you, and I'm going to give you some steps. All right, so it's not about shutting down your empathy. It's not about shaming yourself into silence. It's about bringing consent and choice back into the process. for both people, for you and for the other person. So step one, maybe grab a pen and paper if you want. Step one, the moment that you feel pulled into someone else's emotions, you feel an urgency to fix, soothe, explain, or manage, you start to feel a subtle loss maybe of like your internal center, and you've been like plucked out of your belly into the belly of someone else, or you notice your energy, attention, and awareness is up in your mind, and you have the awareness and the insight and you're problem solving, and you can see all the different solutions, and you're just into that. That is your red flag. That is your yellow flag. That is your pause. When you notice your energy shifting into high gear of being emotionally insightful and problem solving. Step two, you're going to want to pause that motion. And this sounds so hard. It's like trying to hold in a sneeze for some of us. But silently ask yourself, did I choose to enter into this emotional work, into this processing? Or did my system jump into it for me? No judgment, it's just information. This is the first consent checkpoint for yourself. You are checking in with yourself. Just because you have the reflex, the skills, and the abilities or the superpower to be empathic and do these things does not mean you have to. Step number three, you're going to want to reorientate inwards. You're going to come back to your own belly. This is the part that most people skip. So before engaging further, I want you to do one of these things. Can you feel your feet? Can you wiggle your toes? Can you notice your breath? What happened to your breathing patterns? Oh, can you name a sensation in your body? Can you place a hand somewhere on your heart, your belly? Can you do some tapping? You're teaching your nervous system first to pace, to slow down, to come back to what is factual through your five senses. And you are also teaching yourself, I can stay with myself while I still perceive others. Step number four, you're going to decide consciously. Only after you've recentered and you've done that above step, you can ask yourself, do I want to engage? Did the other person involved invite me to engage? Was there consent on their behalf? Did they pull me in to problem solve, to be reciprocal in this? Next question that's really important, do I have capacity? So many people that are empathic and highly intelligent jump right in full feet into the deep end of this pool without checking internally first. Do I even have the energy to do this right now? And the last question here on step four is this my responsibility, or is it just my awareness and insight in action? So what does this practice do? Over time, this wiring can do something really important. You can stop equating connection with self-abandonment. You don't have to lose your discernment and your perception. You're going to sharpen it. And again, you're going to gain choice. You're going to gain consent for yourself first, and then the other person. That's what actually turns empathy from a burden into a strength. This is when you stop bleeding empathy uncontrollably and start using it with wisdom that loves and protects you and the other person. So no, subscribing to me is not going to tell you what to do with your empathy, and I just really hope that I can give you something how you can learn, what do I do with this here? How do I stop doing emotional labor without consent and at your own emotional expense? I hope you can learn how to keep your perception without burning out, without feeling exhausted and resenting the other people because you have jumped into this work before consent was gained from yourself and the other person. And I hope that you can stay connected without disappearing inside other people and their emotional labor. Really, what I mean there is stop being emotionally responsible for other people. So discernment is a superpower, but only when and how you decide to use it. I'm Chrissy, the Emotional Intelligence Nurse. I hope you found something helpful in here and through those 4 steps. Thank you so much for engaging. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video with others who may find it helpful.